Jack Murtha's got it right. He's not cut and run. He's a patriot. He's going to get rid of your $9 trillion debt.
How's Governor Chris doing down there?
Ma'am?
Yes?
How's Governor Chris doing?
I did not vote for Governor Chris or the big insurance companies. And I think that was robbed as well.
Okay. Just checking. You should get some coffee. It's okay. You won. We're the losers here. So I'm just rooting for Jack Murtha like you.
Next up is Middletown, New Jersey on our line for Democrats. Good morning.
Good morning. I'd like to raise the question as to why we were never given a reason for the invasion, a real reason for the invasion and occupation of Iraq, and why we've never really been given a definition of victory. And I think it's because the GOP, the Republican Party, has defined their victory. It's power and profit. And there is no intention, with all the discussion that we're having right now, to leave. And the permanent bases and the embassy the size of the Vatican, that's never discussed in the media, is proof positive that we're there for the long haul. And as this administration refers to it in the Orwellian term, the long war, there's no intention of leaving, because then we wouldn't be making the profit. We certainly aren't making a profit. We're being sucked dry from the bottom up. But the people that started this travesty wouldn't be making the fortune that they are making in the perfect climate, the chaos that exists there at this time. And unfortunately, blood and our country is just being sold down. The discussion here has to be, how do we rectify? How do we staunch the bleeding, and some answer as to how we get out.
We'll leave it there. Sir?
Rob, this is why the Democrats have a problem. And our last few callers, they have a base which is extraordinarily unhappy. And they're not happy that they won. They don't want to take yes for an answer. They're angry as can be. They're the Michael Moore, Daily Kos Putin Democrats, and they're going to stay angry, and they deny the reality of the threat. And I just love to ask the caller, have you read Lawrence Wright's The Looming War? Have you read Mark Stein's America Alone? Have you read Robert Kaplan's Imperial Grunts? They don't want to. They would rather be mad at Republicans and hate George Bush than recognize the realities. And we're going to see that. I don't even know how they begin to control this party, because it's a fever swamp party. And so we're going to sit back and have the popcorn for a couple of years and watch them gnaw on their leg, and it's going to be amazing.
Christy Harvey.
Hugh, I like you, but I don't agree with you. I don't see the logic in the Democrats are mad that they won. They're not mad that they won. They're mad at what's happened over the past 6 years, and they're really fighting angry and ready to move forward and to fix it. And I think that the beauty of the Democratic Party is that there are people like that, and the beauty of the Progressive Party is people are filled with passion, and they're ready to get out there and actually fix some of the problems that have loomed so large over the past 6 years.
Our next call comes from Columbia, Missouri on our line for Republicans. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I just want to agree with Mr. Hewitt that I am really pulling for Murtha, because as a retired Marine who not only knows Murtha from the Marine Corps, but also as a liaison in Congress, Murtha is going to make Tom DeLay look like the best friend that the world ever had. Murtha is going to take care of the Democrats, so let him go. Thank you.
Thanks for your call. Go ahead, Christy Harvey. Take a shot at that.
I think that it's very strange that all of these people are pushing for Murtha when they're not really sure what he'll do as a leader. I say, give him a chance if he is elected in. And I think that there's this boogeyman that they're trying to scare up, that he's the real face of the Democratic Party. I say, great, let's have someone who's strong and out there and ready to say what's on his mind.
What happens if he doesn't win? Because I think your base wants him. I mean, he went out there and he swung from the hips, and they really want him. And if the Democrats of the saner and cooler persuasion elect Steny Hoyer, doesn't the party melt down? Doesn't Pelosi have a problem on her hands if Murtha loses?
I don't think so at all. I think if we get Murtha, if we get Hoyer, they're both great, and I think they'll both do a really good job. And Nancy Pelosi is a tough cookie. She knows how to keep everybody in line, and I think she'll be able to work with whoever is elected.
We need to hear from more Republicans. The number again, 202-737-0001 for Republicans. We've been getting a lot of calls from Democrats and independents, and we want to get more Republicans involved as well. Christy Harvey, what did the Republicans do right over the last 12 years that the Democrats could take some examples from?
Well, Rob, I think there's two things. The first is the cautionary tale. I think that in looking over the past 12 years, the Democrats would do very well to realize the power of all of the money that swirls around in Washington and to realize that you've got to keep your nose clean and you've got to keep your hands out of the cookie jar. So I think one of the things they did right for the Democrats is to show them what you shouldn't do. But another thing that I think that they did right that people really should look at is they're hardcore. They played hardball, they kept organized, they knew what they want, and they pushed forward for it. And I'm not saying that Democrats should now hold a 15-minute Medicare vote open for 3 hours, but I am saying that they would do a good job to look and see what happens when you stay organized, focused, and really get things done.
Next up on the Washington Journal, Menominee, Michigan, on our line for independence. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm retired military. I spent 20 years in the Army, 2 tours in Vietnam. And what really aggravates me is this gentleman you got on there talking about cut and run when we got George Bush and Dick Cheney are the cut and runners. They're cowards and they're deserters. Thank you very much.
Well, that's a Michigan fan, and he's upset by the pending destruction of his football team in Columbus on Saturday. And so most of Michigan is, in fact, unstable this week, so we should just avoid the Wolverine State. I'm a Michigan law grad, by the way, so I understand what's going on up there. They're already anticipating getting smashed.
Our next call comes from Hattiesville, West Virginia, on our line for Republicans. Good morning.
Well, that's Hedgesville. But anyway, I am a Republican, but I'm not sure how much longer I'll be. The problem that the Republican Party have right now is, guys like you have on right now is the face and voice, and I'm sure that's the reason we lost. We've gotten too partisan and too nasty, and I don't know if we're going to ever win again if we keep guys like that on. So that's my comment.
When you say guys like that, what do you mean?
Well, I mean, listen to what he's saying. I mean, I couldn't believe just now he said he would rather have Steny Hoyer as, out of office because he would get something done. I mean, aren't we Americans here? I mean, this guy rather have someone, his logic is, put someone in office who won't get anything done rather than someone who will. I mean, give me a break.
Hugh Hewitt.
At least he didn't say it was ugly. I'm kind of happy with that. Look, Republicans win elections. We won in 2000, we won in 2002, we won in 2004, and we won. So that we're 6-8, or actually we're 8-10 if you count the 2 presidentials and you count both bodies. We lost this time because nobody wins in the 6th year of an 8-year presidency. In 1958, the Republicans lost 16 Senate seats and were down 65-35, and they lost, I think, 40, 50 House seats, and they were down by more than 125 House seats. And so this was a very narrow loss and a bunch of narrow races. A whole bunch of blue Democrats sitting in red congressional districts. If they get the right people together, we'll come back fine, and it's a great way to run a presidential election. I don't want the Democrats getting anything done. I don't want my taxes raised. I don't want to cut and run from Iraq. I don't want to lose the war. I don't want to be attacked again. I don't want to be soft on terrorism. I don't care about the Democratic priorities on a number of different things. So I don't want anything to get done, and it's a good position to be in.
So if I hear you correctly, in 2 years, Republicans will be running on the platform of not necessarily that Republicans can get things better, but that Democrats just didn't get anything done.
No, in 2 years, I think we're going to be running on the platform of winning the war, continuing the national security, playing offense against terrorists. I think we're going to be running, especially in the Senate, we're going to be running on get our judges confirmed because Chuck Schumer's perverted the Constitution, won't give us, and Patrick Leahy won't give us votes. I think we're going to run on low taxes, extending the tax cuts, which will expire in 2010 if Democrats stay around. I think we're going to run on a bunch of stuff that are Reagan Republicans have always run on, and we're going to win.
Christy Harvey.
Hugh, I think that what you're saying is really going to fire up your base, but I think that most Americans and a lot of people that are left, right, and center are really tired of the divided Washington, really tired of super partisan politics, and they're really, really ready to get something done. And I think that was the lesson of the past election. And you're very good at hitting the history books. I liked the statistics from 56, was it?
58.
58.